Hi and welcome back to Yum Paleo. My name is Andrew and today we're going to be doing a really simple but hearty dish. We're going to be making a delicious paleo meatloaf. So anyway, getting started here, what I've got quite a lot of meat, so I'm making quite a big one here. I've got about 2 pounds, actually about 2.5 pounds of ground beef there. So I'm aiming to make this for around 6 people. The good thing with this sort of dish is that not only can you have it hot as an evening meal or a lunch, but if you have some left over, it's great for sandwiches and that sort of thing as well. So don't be panicky about the quantities of meat that you've got there. Let's just focus on what else is going in it. Anyway, what else we've got going on? I've got some tomatoes here, just some normal red tomatoes. And I'm going to use about 4 of those. I'm going to use some courgettes and I'm going to grate that into the mixture. I'm going to put in some herbs, so a bit of thyme, a bit of oregano and some cinnamon. And I'm also going to add some almond meal a bit. So it's a really simple but really delicious dish. And I'm also going to add some pesto, which I made earlier. So really simple one, paleo pesto, obviously because we're not going to have the Parmesan cheese in there. And that's one that is a gluten-free one, so we're not using anything bad. And it's made with walnuts. So it's just going to be a really nice sort of nutty texture with that and with the almond meal in it. So anyway, getting started, the first thing we're going to do, actually, I've just remembered, I do want to put some onion in it, so I'll just grab some onions out of the cupboard because it's kind of an important thing to have in there. So 2 brown onions, so just grab those. Okay, so to get started, what I'm going to do, just run the knife through some of these tomatoes, just like that, chuck them into our little chopper. Chop that last one a bit smaller so it will all fit in, because we just want to blend that up. Some people would use tomato paste. I don't tend to use those sorts of things. My concern with using something like tomato paste is a lot of them have a fair amount of sugar and a fair amount of salt. In fact, I've got one here just because I wanted to see what was in it. And so we've got concentrated tomato, but we've also got salt. This one doesn't have added salt, but it does have a little bit of sugar. So you've got to be a little bit wary of using these because of the extra ingredients they put in them. However, I'm not saying don't use them, but just be really, really wary of what's in there. So for the purposes of this, what we're going to do, just to keep it really natural, is do our own tomatoes. So coming back to this, just going to plug that in and whiz it up. So that's a really good way of just blending that up. And I'm just going to add the pesto into there as well, just because I want to mix the pesto through fairly effectively. And I'm just going to grab a spoon if I can find them. And I want a fairly pesto-ish flavour, so I'm going to put a table. This is a dessert spoon, but I'm wanting a tablespoon, so it's a fairly generous sized dessert spoon. And I'm going to put 2 of those into there. Like so. Smells yum. Pop that back on and just pulse that through. Doesn't really have to be mixed through, but I just figure it's easier doing that than sort of stirring it through your meat. So with our meat there, I'm just going to throw this into a glass bowl. So just break it up a little bit with your fingers, make sure your hands are clean. And as you're going in there, and just break it up into nice gooey bits. I'm just going to set that to one side. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to grate my courgettes into there. So now the reason I'm not pulping these is because it takes all the texture out of it if you do. So I didn't really want to throw it in with the tomatoes because I want to get this really nice grated texture. I don't want everything looking sort of glutinous and losing what's there. I mean, it'd be a heck of a lot easier if we were just grinding everything up, but there are advantages to hand cutting and grating things because it's a little bit of love going into your dish, and that's not a bad thing. Okay, so 4 of those. That's pretty easy. Just mush that through a wee bit. Might have to use a bigger bowl for that. I've got one there in a minute, so I just want to get that out of the way. Okay, now I want to make a start on my 2 onions as well. It's all fairly straightforward, so just dicing this not too finely because it'll cook down anyway. Now remember, while you're doing this, we want to be preheating our oven. So I have just put that onto 175 degrees Celsius, which in Fahrenheit is 350 degrees. So we're just preheating that oven and having it ready for when we put this in, because we're actually cooking it for about an hour. So you want to give yourself plenty of preparation time and just make sure that you've got your oven all sorted. So now almond meal, I want to put in about a cup of that. So just get that over like so. Just going to put in a bit of thyme. Sprinkling of oregano. Just a wee bit of cinnamon, so just don't go too overboard, but just a wee bit. Two eggs. Okay, now the fun bit is that you're going to just get your fingers into this, and this is before we even get, actually no, this is too full, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to have to get the other bowl and pour it all into that one. That's better. I was hoping to use the glass one because I want you to be able to see in there and see what I'm doing, but never mind, you know how these things work out. So you're just mushing this through your hands and just trying to mix it as well as you can. You can't really do that with a spoon, so you've just got to just get in there and smush it up, which is a very technical cooking term. Right, and now we're going to throw in the pesto and tomato mix as well, like so. So the tomatoes made it quite wet, so what I'm going to do, that's after I've rinsed my hands off, I'm going to put in about another half a cup of almond meal, just to help bind it a little bit better, just because I need a little bit more dry in there. So half, like so, and again just smush it up. Generally pretty happy with that, so now just wash my hands again. We've got quite a big mix here, so I'm actually going to do it into 2 dishes, I think. So what we're going to do is just want to put a little bit of oil into the bottom of each, and then just get the brush and swish it round. And the only reason we're really doing that is just to stop the mixture from sticking to the inside of the dish. So really quite straightforward. Okay, so just grab a wodge of it. Just gonna plonk it into there. Okay, and we're just going to season that with a bit of salt and pepper as well, and then we're going to throw it into the oven. Just plain old ground black pepper. Like so. Easy. Okay. Throw them both in there. Make a note of the time. So that's going to be cooking for an hour. So I'll see you back here in about 45 minutes, because that's when we're going to start putting together this beetroot and carrot salad, which we're just going to serve as a side. Really simple. See you back soon. So catch you then. Hi and welcome back. So I've just got this meatloaf out of the oven. It's been in there for just on an hour and it's come up wonderfully. So I've actually got 2. I've got a small one there and I had enough for another one, which I've just sat over the back for now. So anyway, what we're going to do is we're just going to run the knife into that and just see how it looks. And from what I can see, it's come up rather well. So just cut some slices there. So I'm just going to ease that out. And it can be a wee bit crumbly, but it's still okay. Take that end piece off. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to serve this with a really simple beetroot and carrot salad. So I've just grated some beetroot and some carrot together. So I just got them in separate bowls for now. So what I'm going to do is just put some carrot over into the beetroot. The reason we don't grate them together is because the colour will start to leak out of the beetroot fairly quickly. So you sort of just want to toss it through at the last minute, just so it keeps some of those colours separately, otherwise it will all change anyway. So we're just going to grab a handful of that, like so, and just Pop that in there like that. And I'm just going to throw in a couple of cherry tomatoes as well. So just a really easy thing. What this sort of tells you is, I mean, it's a really easy, really cheap dish to make. Eating well and eating paleo doesn't have to be expensive. So I really hope you enjoy that. That's our delicious paleo meatloaf with a beetroot and carrot side salad. Really hope you enjoy that and look forward to seeing you back here for another Yum Paleo meal. See you then.